I was curious as to when would be a good time to discuss this game, as if you watched any of my videos, especially, well, if you watched the unboxing video I did for Ni No Kuni. I don't know if you're familiar with the game, but if you watch the unboxing video, you could tell that when this came out, I was very, very excited about it. Um, but now that I've played through a good portion of the game, I would say majority of the game. I'm at least over 50% done, I would think. I put 35-ish hours into it, or somewhere around there. Somewhere, 33-ish or something. But, man, I'll be honest, I'm having trouble finishing this game. There's so many things that I do not like, and I feel like a lot of reviewers neglected to mention. Game Informer did touch upon them a little bit. The game got a 7 from them, but the 9 that it got from GameSpot and the 9 point ridiculous that it got from IGN, I think it was a 9.4 or something. It's just way too high, way too high. Maybe they're looking at this game in the context of, like, this is what JRPGs are. This is what JRPGs are about, and this is some of the things you're gonna have to deal with if you play this type of game. But I can't hold it to that specific standard of standards within that genre, because I think there are a lot of things that genre needs to start doing a lot better. They need to take influence from Western RPGs and start doing them. You don't have to make it a Western RPG. JRPGs are fine. You can keep that, thematic style and artistic feel, and the combat says you can keep most of the stuff that makes it a JRPG. But this game has, I mean, let's just start off with why I really was turned off by this game. Well, first of all, the characters in it I don't think are extremely likable. I guess the main character is, the one they really focus, development on, and I don't feel like he develops a lot through the story. I did hear there's a twist some point later on. Maybe I didn't get there yet, but yeah, the characterization in the game is so weak. And maybe that's partially to do with the fact that the game has a very, I don't want to say immature, but it's a very, like, children-friendly game, children-friendly story. I mean, I don't know. The characterization is bad. One of the things I think Western RPGs have done really well of late is characterization through interaction with those that are traveling with you or in your party, per se. I don't think that this game does that particularly well at all. They have you traveling along with a couple different companions, and there's only one companion that I would say it's really noteworthy in your whole group, and that's Drippy. And while he's a great character, I still don't think he truly develops in any significant way. And the interactions between the characters never seem to change too much throughout the game. I mean, I guess Swain is regarded a little differently once you figure out who he really is, but other than that, and even that wasn't a dramatic change in characterization. Other than that, I mean, I just the characterization and the relatability to the game's characters, which is arguably, probably, in my opinion, it's the most important part of an RPG, is the characters within the story and within the world, or in context of the story and the world, and how they interact with others, and how they go about their journey and the choices that they make. And I feel like this game is a major letdown in that regard. And that's really sad to say, because there's so many RPGs of late that do it so well. Now, when I say that, I'm mainly what comes to mind is Western RPGs, but just because it's a JRPG doesn't mean it can't do those things well. I mean, Final Fantasy VII did it, and that game is how many years old? Like 15? Who knows? But yeah, and there's a lot of mechanical errors in this game too. I mean, when boss fights can be exploited. I mean, it may not truly be an exploit, but what I find myself doing in many of the major fights is I'll go around, I'll kite the boss. I'll just run around the battlefield in a circle, wait till the boss or enemy does one of his more powerful moves, defend it, and whenever you defend it, typically what they call glims, which is kind of like their in battle potion system, will just spawn on the battlefield. I'll collect them, and after that, it'll boost my amount of magic. Then I'll cast a spell and refresh and repeat. Like, I just find myself defending, kiting, casting, defending, kiting, casting, and it takes forever for this to finally finish happening. Like, it takes forever to finish a boss fight in this manner, and there's probably a better way I could go about doing it, but I think the mechanics in the game force me, in my opinion, to go about it in this kind of way. You can interrupt opponents' attacks if you are able to attack at the exact right time, but oftentimes I feel like this is so difficult, and the reward or the punishment for not getting it right on time is too detrimental to even try. So half the time I feel like I'm kiting, which it feels so cheap. So I don't know. It sucks. Like, I don't feel there's any depth in the battle system really. Uh, Part of one thing in this game does to, I think, its detriment, and maybe also to its advantage. I don't know how to quite put this, but a lot of the familiars, or AKA Pokemon, if you want to put it that way, are kind of difficult. Well, they're not difficult to catch, but whether or not they're capturable is dependent totally on chance. And some of them are extremely hard to capture. Some of the ones you really want and you're really grinding to try and find and finally capture are extremely hard to finally capture. Sometimes you'll fight them 50 times and you won't find one that will allow you to capture it, and that's awful. I mean, I guess it does add some uniqueness to the lineup of familiars that you will have compared to your friend, but I mean, if you have to sit there for 3 hours in order to get one creature that you want, then that's a problem. In my opinion, that's a design flaw. They shouldn't have made it totally on chance. Like, they could have done something different. Also, in Pokemon, and I hate to keep comparing it to that game because it is different in many ways, but as far as the Pokemon, the familiar system in the game, when they evolve, they call it something else, but when they evolve, they start back at level 1. So this effectively makes that creature useless until you are able to retrain him until he's useful again, which could take a significant portion of the game, maybe 1/5 of the 20% of the total time you carry that creature could be spent trying to make him useful again, and it forces you not to want to evolve your best familiars to the next step. Those ones that you really rely on, you feel like you cannot evolve them and make them more popular or powerful to get their stronger moves, because if they start back at level 1, you're going to have to lean on familiars that are way further behind, like it forces you to not want to see all there is to see in this game, and that sucks. Furthermore, and I know, like, games like Pokemon and Final Fantasy, you run into enemies randomly. They're invisible. You don't know when you're going to run into enemy, but in this game, you can see them on the world, and then when you kind of like a Tales game, I guess, or what's that? Eternal Sonata, where you see them in the world, and then once you clash heads, then you enter a battle. But it does that in this game. But as soon as you turn a corner or walk like 10 steps, everything respawns. So if you have to backtrack just the slightest amount, you're refighting enemies over and over again. And it just makes it to where you don't want to explore. The battles often take longer than they should, I feel like. and characters use their magic and all their abilities up way too fast, so that by the time you get to the boss, you're usually always your companions are usually totally drained, unless you have some items that you're willing to give them to boost their mana back up. And I don't know, it's just so many flaws about this game. The world is okay. I mean, a lot of people gave this game extreme praise for the amount of content and the vibrance and the life of the world and how unique and colorful it was. It's okay. Uh, it's not that great. It's not going to be mind-blowingly great. Now, people may disagree with me there, but there's nothing that screams this about this game that screams, AAA to me. Um, I mean, I guess AAA means something different to everybody, but nothing about this game screams perfection. Like, whereas some games you feel like, well, there are flaws, but there are certain elements that this game does so well that, you can almost look past those flaws. Nothing about this game tells me to look past the flaws, and that's bad. um, I mean, I could sit here and come up with a lot more if you really asked me to, but these are some of the major things that I felt wrong with this game, and part of the reason I got sidetracked and went on to another game. I was looking so forward to getting into this game and into the world and consumed by it, and it turned out to be the exact opposite. I'm starting to loathe it. I feel like if I finish this game, I will be forced to do so. It'll feel like a chore. I'm not even interested in the story anymore. It's not that good. I mean, I do want to see what happens at the end, but do I feel that it's worth the journey and the time that I'll have to spend to see that ending? Probably not. Unless they do something really awesome and throw me for a loop and it really kicks ass for whatever reason. I don't feel like it will be worth it if I ever do put in the time to finish this game. People I would recommend this game to, it would be hard to recommend this game to. I mean, I guess you're really, really, really hardcore JRPG fans, or really hardcore Pokemon fans that have a tolerance for, I guess, flaws, I guess you could say, or have a really high sense of patience, or they have patience is a virtue for them, because this game is going to require a lot of that. If you want to capture that special familiar, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of patience. And if you want to evolve him, you're going to have to grind him up to the point where he's useful again. He starts back at level 1, basically has to be retrained. He'll be useless for hours. And he'll probably still suck after that for a little while. I mean, it's a faulty system, man. The one saving grace I will say is that you don't have to necessarily use that familiar in order to level him up as you would in like Pokemon. But they still have to be in your party. So it's not to like where you can like capture any familiar and all your familiars level up that you have after every battle. No, you have to have them in your party in order to level them up, and it just sucks. Like, I don't want to have to start all my familiars at level 1. Oh, and that's another thing. If you capture a familiar, they usually start at level 1. If they're an evolved creature, I think they start at level 5 or level 10, depending on how far evolved they are. And that doesn't make sense either. How come when you level or evolve a creature, it starts at level 1, but when you capture evolved creature, it starts at level 10 or whatever? That just doesn't make sense. And this is just so many really unfortunate things about this game. Too much reading, and in a day and age where one expects a lot of voice work, and this game does have voice work. It has like an anime style cutscenes and stuff like that here and there, but they're far and few between. Like, there's not too many of them, especially once the game gets going. Near the beginning, there's quite a few, but once the game gets really going, there's not too many voiced over cutscenes, and that's part of the reason I was really looking forward to it. I was like, it's an anime and a game? How great is that? No, it's not really an anime and a game. It's just a game with a lot of reading. I mean, I don't mind a certain degree of reading as long as you keep it interesting. But this game somehow it's so dumbed down and just like you feel like you're going to be reading the same text over and over again at certain points, and like they sit there and explain everything in such ridiculous detail that it seems repetitive sometimes. Like you don't need to explain the same mechanic in detail 50 times. I get it. I get how this mechanic works. Uh, there's just so many little things to it that just turn me off, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree because there's a lot of hardcore JRPG fans out there, but I just want to let those know, those that are on the fence about getting this game know that there is a price to pay if you want to get some enjoyment out of this game, and really it can only be recommended to those that are true hardcore fans of JRPGs or Pokemon, I guess. Um, but even then, man, even for fans of Pokemon, it takes an extremely high tolerance in certain aspects, and it's so unfortunate because there's so many things that could have been improved about this game that can have been improved so easily. Just a mechanical change here and there could have improved so much about this game. Now, as far as the character development, that would have been a little bit harder. I understand that. Hopefully, in the sequel, they can expand upon that aspect, but just a slight mechanical change here and there would have made this game so much more fun to play and a lot less monotonous. And yeah, that's just what it is. It is what it is, if I were to rate this game, I would say slightly below average, slightly below average, maybe average on a good day. You know what? For the benefit of the doubt, I'll give it average. If average, man, no, it's slightly below average. If slightly below average is a 4, then it's a 4. If slightly below average is a 6 on your scale, then it's a 6. Whatever. But it's slightly below average. I'm having so much trouble finishing this game. I have so many better games sitting on my shelf waiting to be played that this game I don't feel like really earned. It really deserves my time. I have so many great games out there ready to be played that are sitting on my shelf right now, and this game is not one of them. I guess that really wraps it up. I've said what I had to say, and it's like I said, it's hard to recommend this game. I hope you appreciate my opinion. I would really appreciate a thumbs up. A thumbs up. You can give me a thumbs down. But I just appreciate if you rate the video, honestly. If you'd like to subscribe, I will be trying to pump out more videos and make them a little more interesting. But yeah, just try to rate the video. If you liked it, great, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, and then give me a thumbs down. But what I really would ask is that don't give me a thumbs down based on my opinions and whether or not you disagree with them. Give me a thumbs down if you did not enjoy the content of the video. Or if you did enjoy the content of the video, then give me a thumbs up. Rate me based on, how you enjoyed, was this time well spent watching this video? If you give me a thumbs down because you disagree with my opinions, then I think that's a little childish. No offense, but I think it is. So I guess have a good day, and I appreciate you watching.